So let's run the program and make sure that it executes correctly. And it should run the same as before. We shouldn't notice anything different. Let's set our secret number to 67. I'll even hide it. So let's guess. So 50 should be less than. Right. Guess too low. Let's try 75. 75 is too high. Let's try 67. Correct. You win. Cool. So that works. So now you have learned that beyond just executing a simple if statement, you can execute, you can define an alternative to the if called else if the condition for the if is not true. And now we're going to do something more interesting. As I mentioned in class, whenever you create a game, especially like a video game, sooner or later you're going to want to have some sort of a way to basically roll dice in your program so you can get a random number. And you can do this for many different reasons. For example, in Pac-Man, you don't want the movement of the ghosts to be too predictable. So you would want to have a random number generator, basically actually a coin, kind of, to decide when each ghost should change direction. Or maybe if the ghost comes upon a split in the path, a fork in the road, maybe you should roll a die or flip a coin to decide which way he should go. Right? Well, in C#, they defined a class. Remember, everything in C# is an object, which is either a class or a structure. In C#, they defined a class called random. And that class contains several functions, one of which in particular we're going to use to generate random numbers. So here we go. The reason we're going to do this is because I want the secret number to be random. I don't want to have to set the secret number every time that I want to play this game. I want the computer to set it for me to a number that I don't know. Okay? And this is how we're going to do it. We're going to do this in 2 steps. The first step, let's go back to our code here. First, we're going to modify this form main function. Remember up here I had named our main form. I named it form main, FRM main. Well, right below the class definition, right below the class declaration, there is a public form main function. And this function actually gets called when you first start the program. You don't call it, Windows calls it for you. And the first line in this function is always initialize component, which is a Windows related thing, and we don't want to mess with that. And in fact, any code that we add to this initialization function, we want to add it after initialize component. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to type this, and I won't go into too much detail explaining how and why this works, but just trust me that it does. We'll type random space. I'm going to give our new variable, which is of type random, I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to say I'm going to call it random secret num. And then I'm going to, all class instances have to be initialized. And this is how you would do it. You say equals new random follow that with no space, open parenthesis and close parenthesis and semicolon, just like that. So what have we done here? We have, now remember, whenever you have an equal sign, you first read what's to the right of it, and then you take that value and you store it into the variable on the left of the equal sign. So to the right of the equal sign we have a keyword new, which is very similar to the dim keyword in Visual Basic, and it basically creates a new instance of a particular class. You don't have to understand what exactly that means, just trust me on that. And so we're creating a new instance of the random class. Okay, and that new instance we then assign to the variable by the name of random secret num that is of type random. So that makes sense. We created a new instance of the random class and assign it to a variable of the same type. Okay, that won't get us a secret number though, but this next thing will. So on the next line, we are going to first grab the value of the random number that we're going to have the computer generate for us. We want to store that in this numeric up down right here. This guy's called nud secret num, right? Right up here, nud secret num. That's the one we want. So I'm going back to the code and I'm going to type nud secret num. Oops. Nud secret num. Oh, dot value is equal to. Now here's where I generate a new number, a random number. I'm going to type random secret num, which is the instance of the random class that we just created. Dot, that's how we access its members. Next. Now next is a function that basically rolls a die, and we can tell it what's the lowest value on the die and what's the highest value on the die. So how do we tell it?